Hello everyone, Dan14th Prime here. I want to do a video share out today with you guys on the Takara masterpiece MP-51. This is Arcee, Cybertron Warrior. Always fun to get a new masterpiece in hand. It is a first love of mine from a collecting perspective. She comes in a tidy little box there you can see in front of you. And of course, as always, packaged in alt mode there, her supercar. Now let's jump in and take a closer look at that car. But before we do, if you can like or comment on the video, it helps the video and channel out very much. And if you're not yet subscribed, please consider doing so. All kinds of cool collectibles coming into my collection room, the Prime Pyre, and always happy to share those out with the community. So here we have Arcee in her alt mode, the Cybertronian supercar. It looks the part, definitely reminiscent of cartoon accuracy. So for me, I think they did a nice job here with the supercar. Nice color. It's got that bright pink Autobot logo on the hood. The grays and the white accents work very well. I think just the fenders and the shape of it all looks very good. Looks very supercar from the back end. You get the nice red taillights there as well. And of course, the signature kind of spoiler on top. Nice blue windshield as well. So for me, it's like, yeah, that's definitely Arcee. I think the alt mode, all in all, does a pretty nice job. If I just pick her up here to give you a couple extra details close up. Autobot logo, getting some nice detailing here. Nice detail there with the white kind of almost lip on the hood. Looks good. See just little paneling details here, so it's not so plain. Blue windshield is probably going to be difficult to get this angle. Kind of sort of there. And if we put in a little bit extra light, you can see there's a dash there, a steering wheel, a console. Decently detailed on the inside. And the back end there as well. And the seats are there. So that's some of the main details underneath here. Lots of stuff needs to pack underneath, and you will have some clearance to manage. I sort of make mine work pretty well like this, but it's pretty classic Arcee shell former look. I mean, it doesn't look much different than like some of the deluxe figures we get from the main line. Pretty flimsy plastic wheels here as well, but I've been back and forth with her once. I've got her on the ground. Have some clearance, so it does roll. So here, if I just grab the tray, probably the easiest way for me to give you the eagle eye view of everything that's included in the box. You get sort of 3 blast effects for the guns. You get a long rifle, 1 very small pistol, a bigger pink pistol, something here for the car to kind of pop tires and stuff. You'll see a holster for this gun, and then 3 separate faces as well. So we'll show a little bit of the accessories in the car mode here. Most of them are just for storage, but this is the main vehicle accessory. It's called the Crusher. The thing looks like it would just sort of blow out tires. And if you come underneath the car here, it will sit like this. Right-hand side, so passenger side. Pegs just in front of the front wheel there. And sticks out of the side of the car like that. That's your main vehicle accessory. However, of course, they try to do their best with just storage, peg hole here, weird pegs on the butt of the rifle. Personally, I don't like that they did that. It's going to need to go on this side because of the clip sticking out the side. Not the best peg either. I believe you can do like the holster here. I don't know if I'll go through all of these, but we'll take a shot. This one here, I believe, can go somehow under here. Yeah, maybe something like that. Don't know where the little gun goes. Didn't really see that in the instructions, but they make an attempt. But personally, this is a mess. You'd never do this, but it's in the instructions. If you like to peg your accessories on the vehicle mode, they do their best. It's not perfect. That's your main look. And let's not forget, of course, she gets her kind of collector card here. Some nice artwork there, and of course, a bunch of stuff you can't read on the back with her stats. Okay, now let's get into transforming Arcee. It's not too bad. You can work through it with the instructions. I was able to. The instructions weren't great, I thought, but the transformation is not that complex, so you can kind of feel your way through it. Step 1 here is just separating a peg at the front panel here of the side door. Steps 2 through 5, then, you're basically just giving us a bit of a lift to get it off of this back peg as well, right there, like so. Bring it up on this hinge So it kind of flattens out here like this, and then just give it a rotation in. And let's go ahead and do the other side. So again, front pegs there, little lift will break the back peg, kind of gull wing it like your DeLorean, but then pivot in the door like that. Step 6 then, you're just basically taking these straight up, straight back, including the pink panels. Then step 7 and 8, you want to rock back this pink hinge so you're flat like that, and then bring the gray over the top like that. Again, there's a pink lever here, so come back, push that so this pink panel goes flat, and then just bring the gray double hinge there. Come on, double hinge. There you go. Back over the top of itself. Around the back of the car here, step 9, we're just popping off the whole like trunk section. So just give that a lift off. There's a big peg right there. It's a key that goes right in there. And then you'll find these gray seats here as well. Just give them a fold all the way flush against the white back. If you then orient back to the front of the car, step 11, here these little panels here, just give a little bit of a tuck in, very subtle move. And then the whole side panels here, we're just going to kind of shake loose. I can show you from the back as well. They just unpeg from sort of the center of the car. Main peg sort of back here by the tail light. Steps 13 through 16, if we orient again back to the car here, you can now fold down the like center of the trunk, let's call it. So you can fold that down. The tail lights will pull out. See how they just extend and give you a little gap there. I'll get this gray out of the way so you can see. See, that just pulls out of there. Then as well, they're on a little pin and they can slide in. So give them a slide in. And then finally you can fold them. They rotate here on a hinge as well as a hinge here. So again, double hinge, and you'll just kind of get them flat. So there and there. Next up, we can do steps 17 through 22. If you come underneath the car, underneath the front bumper here, these pink panels where the feet tuck into, you can just give them a lift up. They sort of just hold the feet down. Now you can swing the whole leg out. Pretty typical Arcee Hasbro transformation. And you can bring the legs down. Make a call out here, probably the one slick thing they did on transformation is they put a little spring-loaded panel here on her hip that comes in and fills later. So that was pretty slick. It's about the only cool thing I've really noticed on the figure from a transformation perspective. If you bring here like this, kind of like in a seated position, you can then push the legs together and they'll fill in the hips and look good. And of course the feet, just get them oriented, ankles forward, toes flat. And let's not forget, come back up to these panels and just close them back up. It's really the only purpose they serve. We can continue with steps 23 through 26, where we're basically going to start to swing the head around now. This whole piece here. It's going to start to come around. The arms, you can actually pull them down. They'll pretty naturally just sort of come down to her sides and make her arms. And through here now, going the other way, flipping the head this way, you can bring around the torso and chest. Now we're starting to get our robot, and of course now we're going to start to backpack up. So 27 and 28, just the wheels come down here, flat, like so, and then these fender panels are going to come over them as well. Now for 29, you want to just flatten this out so you can get access to the windshield, and we're going to need to do a maneuver here through the middle. So this is like 29 through 35, and this is where the instructions are not good, but it's not that difficult. We just want to feed it through and lock it on the other side. So here you can kind of push the windshield down. This is on a little hinge and swivel, so you turn it sideways to feed it through. You can kind of even bend it up like that. You kind of got to feed it through at an angle, almost diagonal-ish. So it clears back through the other side, comes here on the other side, and we just sort of catch it And we just want to lay it flat here on the inside of the hood, just like that. Okay, for 36 and 37, we're going to deal with the lower part of the backpack here. There's a hinge here, gray on pink, if you can see that, kind of dark in there. We need to bring this up because here are pegs on this bottom white, and there are pegs here on her back. So we need to sort of come up. You need to get the gray peg to come up too. So come up there with your thumb, force that up, swing that down. Not forget the wheels. Wheels only at the moment. Not that it matters, but per the directions, wheels only. You can always tidy stuff up, which I find myself needing to do. But wheels only come in, let's say, and right there, you can get the peg. I find when I push on it, it's going in okay. Sometimes I push on it, I just find the plastic isn't sturdy enough to really give me a good peg, but I think that's probably in there all right. And then really also with 37 through 39, we're just going to start to get, we want that to come over the top, of course. We want these pieces to come in. So the wheels kind of slide in the slots between her back and the backpack. You can get them to come on top of this like that. They come in. Again, you've got your pegs there like this. This then wraps over the top of that. Get her shoulders in place here. We can start to bring this down. Get her chest where it belongs. Get her shoulder down, neck down. And this piece as well can be a little tricky. These gray levers, you want to bring them in between and just inside of these pink panels. So this thing will come down for you. Okay, there we go. I was struggling a little bit with the behind the camera threading the needle of that, but you can see there how that comes down and stacks pretty well. You know, we'll look at it in bot mode, but they really kind of stack on top of each other. It comes down to those gray panels and it sort of lowers behind the head, you know, sort of level with the head from the front end view. And then here there are just some elements of steps 39 and 41 to kind of finalize, but these panels here, you can kind of see the wheels, these panels, then also pivot and cover that with pink. Yeah, that looks. Wheel there, turn that panel, gets covered with pink. Come on top here, you can we'll knock that down, of course, if I haven't done that yet. Knock the front of the hood down, it gives you better sort of silhouette of what that should look like. And then you can just bury the Autobot logo by pushing on the front. It tilts, and then you just sort of knock it down. So here you have Arcee in a fairly museum-esque pose, just so you can get a look from a 360 perspective. Again, transformation, not too difficult, and she ends up with a gigantic backpack on here. She can stand, though. There's some die cast in the feet that helps with that, just weights her down a bit. She looks pretty good, save for the huge backpack. But I mean, the legs have nice shape to them, some nice details in there. I think the head sculpt is very good. I've got a couple complaints that I'll call out here as we pull her in close. That could have improved it quite a bit, but I think the colors are good. The tones of various tones of pink are very good as well. But let's jump in and take a closer look at her. So bring her in a little closer here. And you can check out some stuff here. Check out, I think the head sculpt is very good. Nice job with the face here. The detailings through the head are good. Get some nice detailing just through the hips and everything. The legs, the shape of the legs look good. Feet, interesting. So decent job from the front. A couple things I think they needed to do better was one, the chest just sits like super low. It's like the angle, it's super flat here. And I don't know why, because this is just a filler piece, you know. I guess it works on the hood, but I mean, you could have made this a bit more angled. See this? This should angle up and taper in more naturally to like the top of the shoulder. It's very low, too flat of an angle, gives her too much of a white collar look and just an overall odd chest look. So that was like an easy one they could have fixed. Coulda, shoulda. I don't know what they were doing there. And then, of course, the backpack. I'd be fine if they kind of did it like Bumblebee and at least got it right from one angle. But they didn't even do that, again, because the chest isn't right. And then here, the backpack, I think what they should have done is probably they could have put like, maybe broke it here, put a hinge in there or something, just to at least be able to grab this front fender and pull it forward. Because this should really almost be sitting over her shoulders and, you know, kind of like beside her head, not behind her like this. So those two things were pretty big misses. I mean, I don't understand why they're not going for stuff like that, considering all that they've done with like Hound and Prime reissue and all of that. So this seems sort of like not a step forward relative to the figures that we've been seeing recently. So here you go, just for some sense of scale. I mean, you know, she fits in with sort of car kind of sizing. These guys have their knees bent a little bit, so you can see how she looks with Prime. So I think scale-wise, you know, she's kind of there on point where she needs to be. Let me come back a bit now that she's in bot mode to her accessories. Here you have the pink rifle, and she's got a peg in her hand. So there she is with the rifle. Actually, just swap that to the left hand because of the clip. Probably works a little bit better there. You get various blast accessories as well. This one is for the rifle per the instructions. It would work on probably the pink pistol as well. Just plugs into the end like that. Pretty good length to that one. Next up here, she can come with this holster, which will, I guess, probably peg on either side of her leg, but we'll go with the right side. Like that. Then this pink molded plastic gun. And that will just sit in there like that if you like. If we put that one in her hand, it looks like that. This one's kind of cool because, well, I'll show you the hands when I do articulation, but she's got trigger finger, kind of sits right over the top of the trigger on that one, actually. And I like how the thumbs wrap around the handles as well. So, again, separate blast accessory here, kind of a smaller one, just plugs in the end. And as I mentioned, the longer one would plug into this one as well. And last accessory here is this little pistol. And just to give you a reference versus the pink one, these ones remind me of the pistols where you'd expect her to have a couple of them, except it's really tiny. Now this one only has a peg on the inside of one, so it's only going to go in the right hand. The other two would work in either hand because they're pegged on either side. And there she is holding that gun. Peg's not as good. Definitely, I think, needs a little bit more of the hand to help hold it, but still seems to hold okay. Don't let me forget here with this tiny gun, you get a more unique blast accessory that's only going to work on this because it actually just has a hole itself that the gun pegs into. And it looks like that. And then finally here, the last gimmick accessory piece is, of course, the faces we saw, but even more so, or more, she's got a red visor under her head. It's got a little thing you can pull on there to help you. And then just set the visor and bring that down right over the top. So you can get that look. That's pretty cool. We'll put that back up there. And then the heads here, the faces, it's varying degrees of open mouth. So here's like the most closed mouth, and it just sort of slides up and out. She then has this look with a little bit of open mouth. I believe this one here is just a tad more. And then this one, the most open. Instagram face. Okay, so let's move on. Let me show you the articulation. Obviously, it's a big thing with the reboot or the new line. I think it does pretty well in that regard. The neck there has got like a joint up high, like a ball joint, and just sort of like a hinge down low. So it'll turn on there, again, because it's like ball jointed up top. She can cock her head and stuff. You know, looks down really well. Can even look up like that. So that's all very good. The shoulders, again, they pull off a butterfly by putting in this funky mechanism on. It does not look pretty, but again, if you wanted to sort of get the hands together, you can do that for a pistol pose or what have you. Goes up nicely, rotates at the bicep there, double joint on the elbow, rotates at the wrist there as well. And again, the hands here, You get the thumb on a hinge, the bottom 3 on a single hinge as well as the fingers is on a double hinge. Sorry, the bottom 3 is on a double as well. So some decent articulation there on some super tiny hands. So as you can see where the pins go on, I have quite a bit of like just a plastic flash. I assume from just them driving into pins. Now the waist articulation, they didn't let us down. So it turns, I think, pretty well. You know, you got 45 degrees. I mean, it's going to be enough. I think that works pretty well. And it's kind of, again, it's sort of like a funky ball joint-ish sort of thing. You can get some very natural sort of movements, like organic-looking movements. Just had a light go out. So yeah, so that looks good. I mean, and it will sort of, there's so much there. The chest is going to get in the way to really crunch well. But you can kind of bring her forward a smidge. And again, like I said, it sort of rocks and rolls around in there. So there's something there. I think that's pretty good. The hips come like that and then get stopped. The leg comes up pretty good. And of course, you know, transformation, it goes all the way up because of the clickety panel in there. We've got a thigh rotation that's kind of just above the knee. Double jointed knee that does pretty well. Doesn't look terrible. Doesn't look great. Doesn't look terrible though. When it does so. And then here, again, you can point the ankle all the way. You can bring it up. She's got a little toe you can point. And there's an inside rocker there. It's super tight. And again, you get some die cast in the feet. So there you have it, guys. MP-51 Arcee. It's all right. They didn't kill it, but it wasn't a complete fail either. I mean, it delivers on some aspects of the reboot promise. You know, it's got the action figure articulation. I think they nail that. It's got a toon aesthetic, great head sculpt. It's got lots of accessories and playability. So all of that delivers very nicely. But I think it came up short on, you know, engineering and just transformation innovation. We really don't see anything too special here. It's a shell former with a big backpack. And I think if they would have, well, just got the chest right for one, which I think was just a design choice that was wrong. And then two, just done something a bit more innovative with these front panels over the shoulder to bring those forward a bit more, it would have been a heck of a lot better. And probably would have left me with a smile, but as it is right now, I'm kind of like, you know, it's okay. Arcee is not a huge character for me anyway. The figure doesn't really overwhelm me that much. So I'm left with just an okay sort of feeling. It could be a bit cheaper, again, considering it, I don't felt they innovated as much. Why it costs more than like Sunstreaker or as much as Hound. Feels like it should be something a bit less than that. Thanks for checking out the video, guys. Again, Transformers masterpiece. First collecting love of mine, so always happy when these come in. Definitely be looking forward to that Starscream. Again, if you enjoyed the video, leave a like, drop a comment on your way out. Helps the video and channel out very much, so I appreciate that. Again, for any of your collectible shopping needs, links down in the description below. Sideshow, Amazon, eBay. In-stock purchases at Sideshow and any purchases through Amazon and eBay. Supports the channel at no cost to you, so thank you very much for that. All right, guys. See you next time.